Good morning, good morning. We must have some people traveling. Dip that weather a little bit, and they're out trying to find fall foliage. I know we've got some board members doing some traveling. We've got somebody in the Jacksonville area. They're watching the Blue Angels. Anybody ever witnessed that? I think that's pretty cool. One of our members here today just let me know that sweet little Emily and her grandma Tutu like to watch us when they're not here. So I'm saying hello, hello in the islands. This one I titled, Can We Talk? And some of you may remember we had a spicy comedian, Joan Rivers, and boy, could she talk. And could she approach subjects that nobody wanted to talk about? And she'd just dive right in, and she'd do it with humor. And I think most people appreciated it as humor because she could take some deep stabs sometimes. And I want to share with you, as we enter sometimes uncomfortable conversations, this passage was shared with me, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. Communication is to talk so others will listen. To listen so others will talk. To understand so love can win. Without honesty, there is no truth. Without truth, there is no understanding. Without understanding, there is no love. And without love, there is nothing at all. I think that could be a prayer in and of itself. If we were to talk to each other, let's just pretend you're in that marriage counselor's office or minister's office and you're having an issue with someone because you know it's all about, I love that, them and me, yes and yes. Since there's no other, yes and yes. So the number one issue that people often have with each other, there's usually two things, especially in a young relationship. What's the first one? Oh, that's good. There's three things. Money, communication, and, so who said it? There you go. Our earthly being grounded in sex or lack of. So if the three things that matter most in relationships we've just described, the one we're talking about today is the communication aspect. How can we do it so that, you notice we have two ears, one mouth? You know, sometimes my mouth gets faster than my ears. And that means some people go, what did she say? Was she listening to what I said? If y'all don't know anything about an Aquarius with 4 houses in Capricorn, that means I can work all day, all night. It also means I have a broad vision. So by the time you and I are having a conversation, I'm probably 20 minutes ahead. Either that or I'm bored. One or the other. So how do we learn to communicate with each other that it's effective? That what you have to say is as important as what I need to hear. A lot of us, when we get together, we're already planning, what is my next thing to say? And you miss what somebody's telling you. And when somebody's in that heart space and something's really up for them, if you have your own agenda because you're just social and happy and fun and a butterfly, but they have something they really need to say, but you're already in your head speaking the next whatever you want to say, are you fully present to that person? Are you able in a heart space to connect? Do you know, I've been on a number of retreats, and I'm sure some of y'all have as well, and some of the hardest thing for people to do is stay right here. Right here, and don't squirm. Just be fully present to the person that's in front of you. There was a wonderful time and space in my life when I was doing the earth-based religions. I was learning all about earth, water, air, fire, and spirit, and we had this dance because our mentor, our teacher, our facilitator, by training and education was a professional dancer. And so she had us going in these circles, and the circles would stop in front of each other, heart to heart. You put your hand on their heart, on your heart, and you just look. Now, she's also a Virgo. Do y'all know about Virgos? Virgos are all about timing. They're all about methodology, timing, staying in sync. And she's like, we got to go faster. We got to go faster. We got to go faster. And I went, stop. Look what's happening when people stop and look in each other's eyes. And they do this heart to hand. There was such a beautiful energy coming together without words in this momentum of really seeing somebody. And I think we're busy oftentimes. What is that famous little thing? You know, he's in there watching TV, she's cooking, she's calling out. He's like, Where is he? Not present. And she might be so caught up in what she's doing that she hasn't recognized he needs some downtime. Like, he's been doing things all day. And his downtime language is different than her downtime language. She's looking for rapport. She's looking for someone to bounce ideas off of. So in our communication skills, we want to be very alert, awake, aware how the other person receives our communication. So when we are open and receptive, our minds are open versus being already made up. Some of us have some very strong opinions. We have dedicated ourselves to going behind the scenes and decided how we feel about things. And then you have someone who comes to you that you haven't met, or you do know, and they have a difference of opinion. How likely are you to hear what they have to say? And if you turn away from them, they may feel shunned, that they are not of as much value as you are. So a relationship, according to the dictionary, is defined as the way in which two or more people are connected and how we stay connected. That's what we keep hearing over and over. I'm looking for connection. Some people it might be romantic. Some people it's just, I want to get to know you. Like when I see you in church, I see you at the grocery store, I see you at the IKEA, I'm like, I know you. I got you. Like, we're friends. Like, we're connected. We have some bonds, something in common. I love Brene Brown, and I'm going to bring you something from her book, Atlas of the Heart. And when she's talking about cultivating a meaningful connection, she says this: I am here to get it right, not be right. I am here in my soul's evolution to get it right, not be right. Did you hear that? Because, you know, we're all right? We know we're right. We don't know why people can't just jump on board with us. And when they don't jump on board with us, well, they must be wrong. How connected are we when we make other people feel wrong or less than, or what they have to say doesn't matter? We talk about connection as by being valued, being seen, being heard, even if you disagree with the other person. Where is that civility and being respectful to one another? In that connection phrase, I do hear relationship. I hear our soul's evolution. And Brene Brown says, it's not fear that gets in the way of our courage to create connection. It's our armor. Armor is how we self-protect when we feel uncertain or feel fearful. Our armoring behaviors keep us from showing up in ways that are aligned with our values. What would happen if we put our armor down? If we allowed ourselves to become more vulnerable? If we opened not only our ears but our heart space to really allow someone to be absolutely in their fullness, exactly who they are, and all the crazy ideas, and all the mayhem, so that we, too, can find a connection at the base. In our fall group this past Thursday, I was looking at Cultural Creative, it's a book that we had in ministerial school, and so I created this board, and on the board were different slots. And you might be in your 30, 40, 50, 60, 70s, 80s. You might have been born in the Southwest, the Northeast, you get the idea. This whole thing is covered with possibilities. So I asked the group if they would come and play the game and find at least 3 cards and then look in the other group members and find out what they had in common. And we had such a playful time. besides the part about the motorcycles that we didn't get involved in. But we had a really playful time. And so part of being connected is finding where we have grounds in common. And by doing this little exercise, there was laughter, there was joking, and laughter tends to open us up. Have you ever done a big belly laugh? It's not like, okay, I'm down here like this. You get up, you're big, you're bold. And those of us who are older might go, oop, don't make me laugh that much. But, we know when we're laughing, we are open. We are changing something that might be stuck. Because now, when you hear laughter, like a baby's laughter, like to me, that's one of the sweetest sounds in all the universe. When that little baby is cooing and laughing, and you want to know what they see, what is through their eyes, because, you're this human, you've been here for a while, you got stuck in some ideas, you got some overlay of things going on, but this baby's pure light. This baby is pure light. In the Bible, when Jesus says, "Suffer unto me the little children, and stand not in their way," is he talking about just children? Well, he might be. But he's also talking about the innocence of who you are. Allow yourself to become innocent again so that you are open to hear different ideas, so that you are open and receptive for new experiences. That's what we keep talking about around here. It's almost been 3 years for me, and sometimes you might be amazed, I still hear, "That's not how we used to do it." Well, let me tell you. If we do what we've always done, we're always going to get what we always got. Now, that works if you want to close the doors to the church. So hear me, as we stretch and grow, as we become a little uncomfortable and we sit in that and go, what does that do for me? Because we are multi-generational here. We have people in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, their 80s. Some of my 90-year-olds checked out last year. But I'm just saying, we are multi-generational. So what works for you, let's open that maybe we're going to bring in some other things too. And I know it's very comfortable that if everything goes like this on Sunday, because your world is mayhem and your world is crazy, so wouldn't it be nice if I just sit in this chair and know what to expect? And then you get me. As Reverend Marilyn so eloquently labeled on my little tag out there, Our Lady of Perpetual Bafflement. If you guys think you're baffled, you ought to see what I'm doing in the mornings. But this idea that we can communicate and have fun, explore, change things up, be receptive to new ideas, this is how we grow. This is how we no longer stay stagnant. This is how we invite new folks in. Because most of you, did you come just all by yourself, or did you see a sign out front? Did a friend invite you? Did a friend invite you? That's like the best form of advertising. We can splash it on billboards. We can put it in magazines. We can YouTube it and do the little clips. We can do all that. But when your very good friend says, you got to come check out this place, you might do it. You might do it. Might be a program that brings you in. So how do we move forward creating all these little jewels that invite other people to come play with us? I'm watching our time because we are going to play today. So when we created our fall program, it was all about connection, to root out the fallacies and illusions in our own mind, because before you can make room for something new, has anyone moved a home like after 23 years of being in there? You find things you haven't seen in decades. You find critters that crawled up and died under things you haven't seen in decades. So, true story. When I sold the family home in Marietta, Georgia, and I was in ministerial school and I was going up to Canton to live with my cousin for a year, I needed the equity from my house to continue schooling. So I go in my daughter's room. Now, she was away in Korea teaching, so she's an adult. She's in her 20s. And we had this, well, I won't say it's a rule in the house because that wasn't true. But anyways, I'm cleaning out all of her bookshelves. And just like her mama, she likes books. All the Harry Potter books I was not allowed to touch. They had to go with us. But all these other books I'm cleaning out, and right behind them, pack of cigarettes. Boy, did I have judgment. And I was going to give her a what for across that water. I go into my kitchen, all those cookbooks. Who even uses a cookbook anymore? We all go online, but all my favorite cookbooks are up there, and I'm clearing them out. Pack of Virginia Slim Menthol Lights. I have no idea how old those were, but I do remember when they were a part of my life. So be careful what you are judging about someone else. Boy, it will come and bite you. So when you hold someone else to be outside of you, that what they're doing is wrong, what you're judging them to be doing is wrong, what is that whole little thing about, if you're pointing at somebody else, look at those other fingers pointing back at you? Because you just never know when you're going to walk in it. And I think the universe says, you know what? You play in the judgment game, I'm going to give you some back. Because what we think of, like attracts like, right? We set our intention for the best of all, and boy, then somebody walks by you and you're in the middle of judgment. You know it. You've shared it with me in small groups. So it's happening. So we just got to keep clearing our mind out. For those of you who did clear out a house after a long, long time, how'd you feel? Wonderful. Yes. You have no idea, like that turtle in the shell and all that stuff going on until you go, I am free, I am liberated, I'm not taking all this stuff with me. So another little side part to that, I was up at the thrift store nearby where I lived at that moment, and I was up there dropping off a few bags of clothes, as we all do sometime, and here came these two very strong women, older women, and they had this truck, and they were telling the men from the thrift store exactly how to put the furniture they were getting in the truck. And I thought, these are pretty savvy women. I'm moving in 30 days, so I said, would you like to come to my house and bring your truck? And you can have anything and everything, and I'll show you what it is. Well, they had a thrift store themselves, 45 minutes north, so this is free for them. Well, they show up with Bubba. Bubba is a big boy. And these two little women went throughout my house, and they loaded up that pickup truck, and it was a flatbed. I mean, they loaded it up. They went in my garden and took my trellises. They took all my goddess statues. They went downstairs and took makeshift shelves we made. And I'm like, all right, y'all keep going, because this house had to be completely spotless. As they're going down the road, rickety, 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 and Grandpa's feather bed. Rocking chair, thank you, just has to have some English there. So my daughter would say, use your big girl words. So the rocking chair's on top, and they're going down my driveway. And I'm like, just get down the street. Just get down the street. Well, I'm sure I filled their store up. And like you said, it felt wonderful. If you have a storage shed or space that you're renting that you're paying rent for, and you haven't been in there in 3 years, what are you doing? It's not going back in your house. You've moved. You've changed your whole lifestyle. If your whole garage is filled with boxes that you haven't opened in 3 years, somebody else might really like your treasures. Go in that closet. My mother had clothes from the 1950s when she passed away in 2012. Yes, some of them came back in style, but guess who has to clean that crap out? So be real. What do you want in your life? What are you ready to let go of so that you can open the doors for more magnificence? Because that's what the universe wants to give you. It's just waiting on you to give it the signs. I did feel very, very liberated to be able to empty all that stuff out. My kids were like in school, back in the day when they all still lived with me. If the room got really clean, go look in those big black trash garbage bags because Mom's done thrown it all away. So when people are around here going, have you seen something, I'm like, nope, don't look in that dumpster. Brene Brown says, connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength in relationships. As we change forms around here, we're making room so that someone who's in here and new says, I think I'd like to do X. I think I'd like to do Y. But if it's already taken, they don't know if they can do that. So we're going to expand not only our consciousness, but the events and the way things are happening. So if you just know in your heart of hearts, I'm really a pretty good singer. I'd like to be a part of something. Who do I talk to? Or Darlene. Where's Darlene? Is she in here or doing the children? All these little niblets she likes to make. She just loves to do that. So if you decide you want to be hospitality, let's talk about these things. What is your gift to bring to this community? And we're clearing some of the ways things have been done before, and we're opening doors for new things to happen so that each and every one of us can feel connected.